for an unconditional ceasefire, leaving the future of negotiations unclear. Well, they're talking, but really, the real takeaway is there is no ceasefire agreement. Israel has launched new strikes in the Gaza Strip, killing more than 400 people. The resumption of Israel's war against Hamas on Monday came after almost 2 months of relative calm in Gaza under a ceasefire the U.S. helped to broker, but which Israel and Hamas could not agree on how to continue. Meanwhile, in the latest update, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that airstrikes in Gaza were only the beginning and that all ceasefire negotiations will take place under fire. Listen in.
יחד עם שר הביטחון, קיבלתי את המלצת צה"ל והמלצת גורמי הביטחון לחזור ללחימה עצימה נגד החמאס. מכאן ואילך, ישראל תפעל נגד החמאס בעוצמה הולכת וגוברת. ומכאן ואילך, משא ומתן יתנהל רק תחת אש. החמאס כבר הרגיש ביממה האחרונה את נחת זרוענו, ואני רוצה להבטיח לכם, אני רוצה להבטיח לו, זו רק ההתחלה. אנחנו נמשיך להילחם כדי להשיג את כל מטרות המלחמה. שחרור כל חטופינו, חיסול החמאס, והבטחה שעזה לא תהווה עוד איום על ישראל.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has insisted that Ukraine must be involved in any negotiations to end the war following a phone call between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Putin. The White House said that Trump and Putin agreed to pause strikes on Ukraine's energy and infra, but Putin refused to commit to a broader 30-day ceasefire. Zelensky, who was not briefed on the call, expressed frustration at being sidelined. Meanwhile, shortly after the call ended, air raid sirens rang out in Kyiv, followed by explosions raising fresh concerns about Russia's intentions.
Ми будемо підтримувати будь-які пропозиції, які ведуть до сталого і справедливого миру. Але для цього ми повинні розуміти, про що йдеться, які деталі. І дай Бог, щоб ми знали всі ці деталі, щоб партнери проговорили з нами, тому що в цій війні дві сторони – Росія і Україна. І без України домовлятись, мені здається, безрезультативно. Ми ж підтримуємо всі кроки щодо закінчення війни. Ми і будемо підтримувати, але для того, щоб щось підтримувати, треба розуміти, що конкретно. Буде час у президента Трампа, він зайнята людина, буде час, він набере будь-який час, у нього є там телефон, немає питання, ми готові, проговоримо з ним наступні кроки.
A new trove of government files about the assassination of President John F. Kennedy was released to the public under an order from President Donald Trump. The scholars hope the flood of papers will resolve or at least shed light on the final questions about an event that traumatized the nation and remains the subject of conspiracy theories 6 decades later. Trump, in teasing the release, said that there would be no redactions, but an early review found that some information appeared to have been blocked out. As per Houthi media, the U.S. has carried out at least 10 airstrikes on Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen, including Sada and Hodeidah. The strikes come after the Iran-backed Houthis resumed attacks on Red Sea shipping, claiming to support Palestinians in Gaza. A Houthi military spokesperson alleged that their forces fired missiles and drones at the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman and other U.S. warships, but provided no evidence. The situation in the Red Sea remains tense as the U.S. and its allies continue efforts to counter Houthi threats to global shipping routes. The Israeli government has approved Prime Minister Netanyahu's proposal to reappoint Itamar Ben-Gvir as the Minister of National Security. Ben-Gvir, who leads the far-right Jewish Power Party, is a figure whose polarizing reputation continues to stir debate both domestically and internationally. His reappointment comes at a time of heightened tensions as Israel navigates complex security challenges and explores the possibility of a ceasefire with Hamas. A judge in the Dominican Republic has ordered the release of Joshua Raib, the last known person to see missing U.S. student Sudiksha Konanki. Raib, a senior at St. Cloud University had been detained but was not named as a suspect. He has told investigators that he and Konanki were drinking in the ocean when they got caught in a current. He further said that he brought her ashore, but when he looked up, she was gone. Well, Konanki's parents have now asked the authorities to declare her legally dead, as local officials believe she had drowned. Billionaire Elon Musk has accused the Biden administration of rejecting SpaceX's offer to bring back stranded astronauts months earlier, purely for political reasons. Speaking on Fox News, Musk has said that the astronauts were originally supposed to stay in space for just 8 days, but have now been there for nearly 10 months. He's claimed SpaceX could have brought them back after just a few months, but the White House refused the offer. The Biden administration has not yet responded to Musk's allegations. Listen in.
I'm only going to ask you one political question, just for clarification purposes only. I don't think this should really be a political night. I think this is,
right,
a moment where the country should celebrate the fact that you were able to rescue them, that it happened successfully in spite of the difficulty, the challenges, and the danger. But I just want to clarify on the issue of whether or not you had offered to send this rocket to space to rescue these astronauts sooner to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I heard somebody earlier today say, in fact, that didn't happen, when I believe it did.
No, we definitely offered to return the astronauts earlier. There's no question about that. The astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, and they've been there for almost 10 months. So obviously that doesn't make any sense. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back after a few months at most, and we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons, and that's just a fact.
Federal judge has blocked Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency from further dismantling U.S. aid, calling their actions likely unconstitutional. Judge Theodore Chuang ordered Musk to restore computer access for thousands of affected employees, but did not reinstate terminated contracts. The lawsuit filed by USAID employees argues Musk overstepped executive authority without Senate confirmation. The Trump administration has criticized Tuesday's ruling. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly has said that rogue judges are subverting the will of the American people in their attempts to stop President Trump from carrying out his agenda. She further called the decision a miscarriage of justice and vowing to appeal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently confirmed that over 80% of U.S. aid programs are being scrapped, raising concerns about the future of global humanitarian aid. A federal judge has temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's executive order barring transgender people from serving in the U.S. military. Judge Ana Reyes ruled that the order likely violates constitutional protections against sex discrimination. The lawsuit filed by 20 current and prospective service members argues the ban is illegal, citing a Supreme Court ruling on workplace discrimination. Trump had previously said that transgender individuals conflict with military discipline, but Reyes criticized the government for failing to justify the policy. The ruling halts enforcement while the case proceeds, marking a significant legal setback for Trump's policy. Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate student, has called himself a political prisoner after his arrest by U.S. immigration authorities. The Trump administration is seeking his deportation, claiming his presence could harm U.S. foreign policy. Khalil, who's a legal permanent resident, was detained after taking part in pro-Palestinian protests. His arrest has sparked protest and condemnation from human rights groups and over 100 Democratic lawmakers. Trump has vowed to deport activists he accuses of supporting Hamas, but Khalil's legal team denies any such links. His case could test the limits of free speech protections for non-citizens in the U.S. Winter pressure pattern and cold air mass brought snow in wide areas of Japan on Wednesday morning, including its capital, The Japan Met Agency, also known as JMA, is advising local residents to stay on alert for possible disruptions to public transportation. The JMA has also said that snow is expected to reach up to 3 centimeters in Tokyo until Thursday morning. A gust of wind sweeps over bare soil, kicking up enough dirt and dust to cut visibility to nearly zero. And for drivers, the dust storm seems to come out of nowhere. Such conditions resulted in a pileup on Interstate 70 last week in western Kansas, involving dozens of cars and trucks that left 8 people dead. Blinding dust also prompted New Mexico's Transportation Department to close Interstate 25 from the Colorado border southwest to Las Vegas, New Mexico. Severe flooding has hit Russia's Ural Mountains region as rivers burst their banks following the spring ice melt. Thousands of homes are underwater, forcing mass evacuations. Authorities have declared emergencies in several areas, warning of rising water levels. The situation is most critical in the Orenburg region, where the Ural River has overflowed, submerging entire villages. Rescue operations are underway with emergency teams using boats to evacuate stranded residents. More heavy rains are forecast, raising fears of worsening floods. Well, with that, it's time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
What are you so happy about?
I've just made a claim. We could be owed thousands.
My claim group.
Yeah, the cars we bought on finance, well, the lenders could have charged hidden commissions. It's dead simple to claim.
Hey, I had 2 cars before we met.
Go to My Claim Group. You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from cars you bought on finance since 2007, even if you can't remember the details.
Done.
Simple, eh?
Go to My Claim Group now.
Claims made simple.
We know that water is a sacred gift. It gives life, gives health, and purifies. That's why it's shocking that so many families don't have the basics that we take for granted, like clean water and soap. This means they're much more likely to get deadly diseases like diarrhea and cholera. And it's often their kids that suffer the most. Today, over 800 children will die from dirty water, no proper toilet, or just because they can't wash their hands. This Ramadan, please donate your zakat and sadaqah to provide the gift of clean water. To donate, please search Water Aid Zakat. Your donation can help buy pipes and taps for clean water, bricks and cement for washing stations, and of course, soap. This Ramadan, please donate your zakat and sadaqah to give the gift of clean water to those families that need it most. To donate, please search Water Aid Zakat. Thank you.
So guys, सारी कैलकुलेशन करने के बाद हम इंडिया जाने की फ्लाइट की टिकट्स अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते.
Hey guys, I'm going home for my best friend's birthday bash.
तेरा यहाँ कौन सा जैकपॉट लग गया?
ओए, तेरी पॉकेट मनी बढ़ गई है क्या बे?
By God, इतनी महंगी टिकट?
महंगी नहीं, सबसे सस्ती. Man Travel. You can always get cheapest international flight tickets with Man Travel.
Hello, Man Travel?
Man Travel. Redefine your travel experience.
It's time to clean smarter, not harder, with the Scrub Buddy from JML. The powerful, rechargeable handheld scrubber that powers through tough dirt and stains, spinning up to an incredible 300 scrubs a minute, giving you fantastic sparkling results all over your home. No cords or cables, simply charge and revive your bathroom, kitchen or any room. Power through dirt, grime and unsightly messes with the incredible Scrub Buddy. Only $19.99 from Asda, Argos, Boots, Tesco and JMLdirect.com.
At Direct Line, we know that for multi-property landlords, sometimes the tiniest of things can turn into way bigger problems. From niggly contract issues to keeping up with ever-changing legislation. That's why Direct Line's landlord insurance offers a 24/7 legal helpline as standard. Because a call with someone could help to make the hairiest of problems feel that little bit smoother. Search Direct Line Landlord Insurance. We're on it.
Welcome back after the break. NVIDIA's founder and CEO Jensen Huang kicked off the company's AI developer conference with bold predictions, calling this moment an inflection point for artificial intelligence. In a keynote lasting over 2 hours, Huang unveiled details about NVIDIA's next generation AI graphics architectures, highlighting the company's rapid advancements. One of the standout moments was the introduction of Blue, which is a highly advanced AI-powered robot developed in collaboration with Disney and Google DeepMind. The robot reassembling Pixar's Wall-E showcased real-time interactions with Huang on stage. Additionally, Huang announced that US auto giant General Motors will integrate NVIDIA's technology into its next fleet of self-driving cars.
Rigid body, soft body simulation, super real time. Can you imagine just now what? Let's take a look at Newton. So today we're announcing something really, really special. It is a partnership of 3 companies: DeepMind, Disney Research, and NVIDIA, and we call it Newton. Let's take a look at Newton.
Gold prices have surged to an all-time high of $3,038.90 per ounce as investors seek safe haven assets amid global uncertainty. Concerns over escalating Middle East tensions and U.S. trade policies under President Trump are driving demand for gold. The Federal Reserve's upcoming decision on interest rates is also in focus, with analysts expecting rates to remain steady. Lower interest rates typically boost gold's appeal as a hedge against economic instability. Google parent Alphabet is making history with its largest ever acquisition, a $32 billion deal to buy cybersecurity startup Wiz. This surpasses the company's previous highest bid of $23 billion for Wiz, which was halted due to antitrust concerns. The acquisition strengthens Google's cloud security portfolio as competition intensifies with Microsoft and Amazon in the AI-driven cloud computing market. If approved, Wiz will become a key part of Google Cloud, bolstering its cybersecurity capabilities amid rising global threats. According to reports, Morgan Stanley is set to lay off about 2,000 employees as part of a cost-cutting drive. The cuts affecting 2% to 3% of the workforce exclude financial advisors and are aimed at improving operational efficiency. The layoffs are not linked to market conditions but come amid broader job reductions across Wall Street. Goldman Sachs and Bank of America have also trimmed staff recently as firms brace for economic uncertainty following Trump's newly announced tariffs. Tesla has received its first permit in California for launching a robo-taxi service, but it still needs more approvals before it can operate fully autonomous ride-hailing. The California Public Utilities Commission granted Tesla Transportation Charter Party carrier permit, allowing it to own a fleet of vehicles for pre-arranged trips. However, the company still requires permits from the state's DMV and CPUC to offer driverless public rides. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has promised robo-taxi services this year, but regulatory hurdles remain. Samsung Electronics is looking at major acquisitions to drive growth after falling behind in the AI-driven semiconductor market. At its annual shareholder meeting, executives acknowledged delays in adopting market trends which have hurt stock performance. The company is now focused on regaining its competitive edge in advanced memory chips. To boost investor confidence, Samsung is also considering expanding stock-based incentives for employees. Shares rose over 2% after the announcement. As per Financial Times, China is delaying approval for BYD to build a plant in Mexico over fears that the company's technology could leak to the US. The electric vehicle giant had planned the facility as part of its expansion into North America. The delay comes as trade tensions rise, with Washington imposing new tariffs on foreign goods. Oracle has signed its first Southeast Asian defense deal, providing Singapore's military with secure cloud computing and AI services. The US tech firm will supply an air gapped cloud system isolated from the internet to support classified defense operations. The AI capabilities will analyze video streams for facial recognition, license plates, and vehicle details. Brazilian basketball icon Vladimir Marques has passed away at the age of 87. He was a key player in Brazil's golden era of basketball, winning 2 FIBA World Cups in 1959 and 1963 and earning Olympic bronze medals in 1960 and 1964. His former club, Corinthians, confirmed his passing, calling it a loss for Brazilian sports. Widely regarded as one of the greatest Brazilian players of all time, Marques left an enduring legacy in international basketball. A new era for club football will kick off in 2025 when FIFA stages the greatest, most inclusive and merit-based global club competition in history, featuring 32 clubs and 63 matches. The FIFA Club World Cup 2025 will redefine how, when and where a true club world champion is crowned. As part of the build-up to the highly anticipated tournament, the bold prize that will reward the one and only FIFA Club World Champions at MetLife Stadium in New York on Sunday, 13 July, is currently traveling the globe as part of the first ever FIFA Club World Cup Trophy Tour. President Thomas Bach has given a speech about the Olympic mission of peace at the opening of the final International Olympic Committee session. He will preside. Bach, who has reached the maximum 12 years in office and formally leaves in June, the successor of the 71-year-old will be elected on Thursday. 7 candidates in the IOC presidential election came to the most sacred Olympic site on Tuesday, 2 days before the contest to elect a new leader. PGA Tour players are voting for new leadership on the Player Advisory Council, with Ricky Fowler, Maverick McNeely and Keith Mitchell competing for 2 co-chair positions. The elected members will replace Peter Malnati and Webb Simpson starting January 2026. This year's vote is significant as the PGA Tour transitions to a new system. One chairman will now serve a 4-year term, while the runner-up will serve for 3 years as co-chair. Israeli actress Gal Gadot received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, making history as the first Israeli actor to be honored. She was joined by her family, director Patty Jenkins, and co-star Vin Diesel at the ceremony. However, the event was met with pro-Palestinian protests across the street, with demonstrators chanting and holding signs, while pro-Israel counter-protesters also gathered. Gadot, best known for her role in Wonder Woman, used the moment to inspire young girls, saying if she could achieve this milestone, anything was possible. Tyler Perry premiered his new film Duplicity on Monday in New York. The film title, who wrote, executive produced and directed the film, said that inspiring young people to create and collaborating is what keeps him vibrant in the business. The film follows a high-powered attorney who attempts to uncover the truth behind the shooting of her best friend's husband. The film also stars Megan Tandy, Tyler Lepley, Ron Rico Lee, and Joshua Adide.
If you ever got the chance to go to Tyler Perry Studios and see all the young people coming in the door, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated. So if I get a project or an idea or something hits me, I want to write about it, I do. And that's where Duplicity came from.
A new exhibition dedicated to the works of filmmaker Wes Anderson is now open to the public. In Paris, the exhibit traces Anderson's filmmaking evolution, featuring original costumes, props, storyboards, and production materials spanning his 30-year career. Fans can see iconic items like the red Adidas tracksuit from the Royal Tenenbaums, hand-painted train models from the Darjeeling Limited, and puppets from Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs. Well, with that, it's time for a short break here. More on the other side. Stay tuned.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs. on those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you? Life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills, the roof over their heads, childcare costs, and most importantly, your family. Because no one protects more families in the UK than us. Premiums start from £5 a month and they never rise. Plus there's a £120 gift card after you apply. Legal & General. Ensure life goes on.
The UK's first human heart transplant has been completed, supported by the British Heart Foundation.
We were a noisy generation, but it might be something quiet we do that becomes our greatest legacy. Leave a gift in your will to the British Heart Foundation and fund groundbreaking research that could help save millions of lives. Search BHF Wills.
Find a pet-friendly Italian restaurant with outdoor seating nearby and text it to Luca.
Find it real quick. Send it to the click. This is sick.
Get your Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with Galaxy AI and save up to £744 when you trade in a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra on 3. Life needs a big network.
AI scientists, and some would even call him a rock star in the AI space.
We definitely need AI for is to unlock some of the mysteries of nature.
As someone who is an AI scientist, what is your goal?
Our civilization is facing a number of sort of challenges, and I think this is where AI comes into the picture.
Will this replace most jobs?
The new generation of AI models is that they have cognitive ability.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
The India-US strategic partnership is one that's been developing now over the last several decades, and there's a great sense of optimism over here in India that it is headed in a particular direction. To tell us a little bit about that, and there are so many important global events taking place, Tulsi Gabbard with us, the Director of National Intelligence. It's wonderful to have you here in India, and thank you so much for speaking to us. In terms of the strategic relationship and the intelligence arrangements between India and the United States, to what extent is it premised on perhaps an expansionist or an expanding China and the Asia-Pacific region?
You know, the ties between our two countries, the United States and India, go very, very far back. And so what we're continuing to see is a strengthening of that partnership and recognizing that the mutual interests of both of our countries are centered around peace, prosperity, freedom, and security. So now as we see a new administration coming in with President Trump's leadership in the United States, of course, Prime Minister Modi's long-standing leadership here in India, we have two leaders of our two great countries who are very good friends and who are very focused on how we can strengthen those shared objectives and those shared interests.
So in a sense, it's taking forward what we already have in terms of the strategic partnership, and that's one of your primary goals, right?
It is.
And how were your meetings to that end?
It is. I've been having great meetings, and of course this began with Prime Minister Modi's visit to President Trump in Washington, D.C., very shortly after he was inaugurated back into office for a second term, where they really set the tone and set the vision for where a stronger U.S.-India partnership and friendship can lead to. And so my visit here is really predicated on the work that has already been done, and I've been having great conversations with my counterparts here in the Indian government. I just met with the Minister of Defense a few minutes ago, and looking forward to visiting with Prime Minister Modi here later today.
And you met the Prime Minister in Washington as well some time back. How did that go? I mean,
it was,
we saw the pictures.
It was great. I had the opportunity to meet him several years ago. It was good to see him again, and it was actually very perfectly timed where it was maybe 1 or 2 hours after I was officially sworn into this position as Director of National Intelligence that he arrived in Washington, D.C. and had the opportunity to welcome him back to the United States.
Yeah.
A very good afternoon. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadva. Let's get you the very latest, and this is in regard to the Supreme Court that has come out and asked why they are abandoned projects as far as the NCR region is concerned. And the Supreme Court asking Noida officials to cooperate with home buyers and to revive projects that have been abandoned by the builder, saying that they're very unhappy over the projects not being revived. And this is a day after the Supreme Court spoke of a builder bank's nexus in the national capital and said that there should be a CBI probe in the matter. Today, the Supreme Court directed the Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority to cooperate with home buyers in order to revive a housing project which was abandoned by the builder. We're not happy with the fact that the Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority is not cooperating in the entire exercise of reviving a dead project.